Jupiter Broadcasting presents this program in stereo. This episode brought to you by GoDaddy.com. This week on the Linux Action Show, Apple fires the first shot in the new war against Android. We go over what you need to know. Then we load up the coolest new desktop Linux app that turns your webcam into a production studio powerhouse. Plus so much more. Oh, this week on the Linux Action Show. And welcome to Season 11, Episode 3 of the Linux Action Show. My name is Brian. With me, it's Chris.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Chris.
The Roku Netflix player runs Linux. I was actually trying to find, I had pictures of the Roku Nexus, the Roku video player,
Yeah.
but I closed them apparently. So the Roku player, now everybody knows about the Roku player.
It's been out for a while now, but they've been updating it. They keep adding like new
I didn't
models
even
to it.
know either. I didn't know personally that the Roku did run Linux.
Really?
I didn't know that. I just kind of assumed it, but I thought, you know what?
I think everyone just assumed, oh, well, the Roku's at
the Roku,
Linux.
it's
So, I mean,
such a cool device.
what's it going to do? Run like Windows CE or something?
Well, no.
I mean,
but
what's the options available? What's it going to do? Like get like
BSD.
Windows XP
you
embedded?
could do like BSD or something.
Yeah, but that's not as cool.
The Roku, they keep adding stuff. They've added like
Sorry, BSD.
They've added like live streams. They've
Oh, yeah.
added Netflix on there. They've had
Dude, this box is rad.
Roku
This
is nice.
You know, so I mean,
$100 and you get so much online content right on your TV.
I mean, like I've poo-pooed a lot of the set-top boxes because, you know, I mean, honestly, you have like game consoles and a couple of home PCs, and there just hits a point where it's like, well, do you need really a lot more? I dig the Roku just because
Yeah.
it's super tiny, it's super cheap, and it like out of the box does all the stuff that you want it to do.
Yep.
It's just this cool little box.
and runs Linux.
And it runs Linux.
And it's beloved. It's small. It's
Did
quiet.
you say it's beloved?
It is.
It's
People love
beloved.
It's small. It's silent, which is awesome. It doesn't draw a ton of power. It's very little power. Has HDMI out, sports surround sound. That's freaking
It's awesome. I mean, look at those ports. Look at those ports.
Those are some good-looking ports.
Here's the thing about this thing. No wasted space there. Up there. Well, oh, my finger's disappearing. Those in the video one can see this. In the top left right there, a little bit of space. I'm thinking they should stick like something random up there. Just like a
Yeah.
random port. I
Yeah.
don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a VGA port. I don't care if it's a little serial port, so you can plug in like an old like dot matrix printer. Just fill
You know
that
what
port
is
up.
missing?
Fill that spot up.
You know what is missing from the back of this Roku box?
Nothing.
Is a USB.
picture.
USB.
What do you need USB for?
Hook up a thumb drive. Play
Oh,
with a
I
thumb
guess
drive.
so. I guess
look,
so,
if
yeah.
you look at the front, there's no USB port either.
But yeah, I mean, I guess that's true.
It's
You
all
know
for
what?
streaming off the net.
You know
though,
what?
off your network.
Yeah, exactly. I guess I'm the kind of guy that I've.
You just
I've
have it
got
all
the
on your network.
So
But you know
I
what
never
it's
worry
like if
about it.
somebody comes over and they bring a video.
But no, you're right. You're right. That would be cool. One little USB port.
Yeah.
Schluckank. That would be awesome.
Super Zoti in the or Zonti in the chat room says that his TV has a USB port. Actually, you know what?
Really?
My TV upstairs has a USB port too. I've never plugged into it. Maybe it
Are you
plays
kidding me?
files. Yeah, I don't know. I know some of them will support video
Wow.
files. You can just walk up and plug a thumbstick into it.
Hot diggity, guys. Hot
Well,
diggity.
we've got a
the
whole-
future is here.
The future is here. We've got a whole show. Before we go any further, if you're watching the video version, hopefully we look fancy to you. We've got a new
We can
camera.
hope. Yeah.
A lot of really nice guys out there. A lot of you chipped in and sent us a few bucks. And then a big friend of the show, Philip, who has helped us out in the past, came through and really
rockin'.
closed the deal for us. So we are now live with
Boom.
our new camera, and
Right
hopefully
here.
we're just at the peak of the iceberg of what this thing can do. But we're already internally, we've already seen a huge quality improvement. So we're hoping you see one too.
My
Even if it's
innards
just
think
small.
this is beautiful.
Yeah, I'm really turned on by our own
Yeah,
image
no,
right now.
I'm going a little crazy right now over it. Like we haven't even like modified it. It's not like tweaked. It's not like setting figured. It's not button pushed.
No, we literally dropped it in the start of the show.
Yeah, we plugged it in. We're like, oh, it doesn't work. No, wait, it's working.
It's working.
Great. Oh, it looks great. All right, let's roll with it.
Totally. So I just want to say thank you, everyone, so much for those of you
Totally,
who
guys. Thanks.
send us a little money through our donation links at jupiterbroadcasting.com. Before we go on, I want
Our
to start
wallets and our wives appreciate it.
very much so. I want to start a new kind of ritual at the beginning of every Linux Action Show.
Yeah.
And feature an Android app because I'm really excited about the Android OS. I have a Droid, and so there's little apps that I'm finding.
Everyone loves Android a little
You've
bit.
been playing with Android on a netbook.
Dude, I have. I'm actually gonna. I'll show it to you. We'll talk about it a little bit later in the show.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So my app this week for Android is Google Goggles. Now, a lot of you probably heard of Google Goggles, and I had too, and I thought, who really needs an image search. Who needs an
Not
image
me.
search? But
No, sir.
It actually is really cool. It really actually works really, really well. Like, I thought this is going to be a gimmicky thing. No, it nails it. So first of all, it supports barcodes, and it supports other things like that it can scan and look stuff up.
Sure.
But it can also just take pictures of objects in real world and then get you all the information on those objects.
How does it actually work, though? It seems like it's something that can't work that well.
I know, right? It's the future, dude. It's crazy.
So you've been trying this out.
Yes.
So like what kind of stuff have you like gone, okay, camera, phone, show me what this is, and it's actually gotten it right?
Yeah. Everything from those little QVC little box barcodes.
Okay, I don't care about that because that's easy.
Books. I've shown a picture of a book right now because I took a picture of a book.
And it worked?
Yeah, and if nothing else, I can save it in there as like a to-do item. But what it does, like in the case of a book, is first it checks to see if it's on Google Books. Then it also checks like prices of like online stores, Amazon, cool. Barnes and Noble, things like that. Then it can also check locations around you to see if there's a brick and mortar store that has it for cheap.
Have you tried taking pictures of any person yet?
It blurs out faces.
Oh,
it recognizes them, but it blurs them out.
Because that would be awesome if you'd be like, who the hell is click? Oh, that's that guy. You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be just like creepy? And I would freak out and immediately like go into the woods and live out there where there's no electronics at all. But super neat.
Here's
super cool.
No, what's freaky is it has the ability. It has the ability because when it finds faces,
it blurs them out.
It blurs them out. So it knows what a face is.
But it doesn't necessarily know what everyone's face is. That's the thing.
Yeah. Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
Here's where I use the hell out of it though. It can take pictures of business cards and then it OCRs them, and then you can add them right into your contacts on your Google Android phone. So you take a picture, it scans it, it picks out the phone number, the email address, the name, and the URL, puts it into contact information, and because it's an Android phone,
that's cool.
That's immediately synced to my Google account and also synced to my work ActiveSync Exchange server.
Man, this makes it so easy to give Google every piece of information you find.
Totally. And you can kind of
I don't know what I feel about that.
I know it is a little freaky, and you can kind of use it as a augmented reality application because you can hold it over things. I was walking around downtown the other day, and I literally just went up to stuff and held it over there, and it identified the building to me.
Does it do it live, or do you have to click the picture and wait a little bit while it figures it out?
Well, you take a picture and you wait a couple of seconds.
But it's not like too long or anything?
No.
It would be super cool if you could just hold it up, and as it just sits there, it eventually just starts popping with stuff on the screen.
So here's how I was using it. This is how well it works. So you have to have on your Droid.
And immediately the chat room is making Skynet references.
Exactly.
That's
where you go, right?
This is horrible. Skynet is one of those things that every nerd, every real nerd, is both afraid of and is rooting for to happen because
Alexander in the chat room doesn't just say Skynet. He's like, Skynet, like scary.
There's a lot of T's in his little thing there, yeah. So it is, I don't know.
Skynet.
I so badly want to hate Google for doing all this stuff.
But it's so helpful.
And on the other hand, I think it's so awesome that it's even possible.
I was walking around downtown trying to find a client. And so I called my wife and I gave her the address because what I told say, here's where I'm at. Yeah. You tell me how to get there. And I was like, I'm surprised this thing doesn't have a way for me to send like a location beacon. Well, it does, but I don't use it. So I just took a picture of the building. It gave me the address, and then I sent that to her. And I said, "Can you tell me how to get to where I'm going?"
Wait, did it figured it out based on the building?
Yeah, and probably my GPS. Look. But I sent her the picture. I sent her the picture and my addresses. She got it in an email. This is all like on my Droid, like while I'm walking around. She brings up her email.
How the hell?
She puts in the address of where I am and where I'm going to, brings up Google Street View so she can confirm she's looking at the same picture I just took a picture of. Right? Crazy. And it says, okay, you need to go around the corner and it's the second door on your left. It's like Jack Bauer style stuff, dude. I know.
Dude, seriously?
Isn't that crazy? I know, it's weird. It's if there's practical ways to use it, but it is a little freaky. So check out Google Goggles. That's my Android pick.
Google Goggles. There you go.
My pick for next weekend's episode of the Linux Action Show is my favorite Android app of all time. I'm saving that for next week.
Next week of all time.
Yeah.
This is your top Android app ever.
Top. But in the meantime, you know what? I do believe it is that time where we say holla
Oh,
to our buddies over at GoDaddy.
To GoDaddy?
Yeah, yes,
well,
right.
that's interesting that you bring that up because this episode of the Linux Action Show is sponsored by GoDaddy.com, the world's largest web host and domain name registrar. If you're ready to make an impact online, GoDaddy.com has got you covered. Domain names as low as $1.99. That's 199 pennies, suckers.
That is not a lot for a domain, son.
World-class, son. Hosting with unlimited disk space and bandwidth. Do-it-yourself website builders, all sorts of stuff, dedicated blah, blah, blahs, SSL blah, blah, blahs, every sort of buzzword you can possibly hand, bloom, packed in with like a couple of pennies. It's totally awesome. Plus, as a Linux Action Show listener or viewer or feeler or transmogrifier or whatever the heck you are, you can enter promo code Linux, LINUX, at checkout to take off an additional 10% on the entire order or enter Linux20, Linux20 for 20% off hosting. Totally awesome. Thank you, GoDaddy. Rockin'.
Thank you, GoDaddy, very much. You know what? I just purchased an SSL for a client of mine through GoDaddy, and I also just purchased web hosting and website renewal all through GoDaddy.com just in the last week. So,
did you just type into GoDaddy.com search thing Linux Action Show rocks?
Yep.
Just because?
Felt like the right thing to do to me.
Awesome.
What do you say, Brian?
Awesome.
Let's do the news.
What's new in the news this week?
Oh! All right, Brian. Our top story on the news docket for this week. Apple sues HTC for 20 patent infringements.
Yay. Way to go, Apple. You're super awesome.
So Apple is going after HTC.
And just before anyone says anything, we're covering this because really it's Apple suing because of Android. And Android is based on Linux. That's why we're covering it.
Here's my
it's
take.
Apple
right?
going after at least a pseudo open platform,
Here's
which
my
is
take.
friggin' ridiculous.
Is Apple has an issue on their hands. Android is gaining market share really fast.
Yep.
And they know that some of their patents that they have, because really, if you look at the names of some of these patents, they're things like method for providing automatic and dynamic translation of object-oriented programming.
Dude, or my favorite, object-oriented multitasking system or object-oriented operating system. Are you freaking kidding me, Apple?
Yeah.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
You're going after any operating system, any company for that as a patent. Why not get a patent for employees of my company wear shoes?
Yeah,
that is the stupidest friggin' thing ever. You know, everyone gets all up in arms.
Real-time signal processing from system for serially transmitted data.
Extensible, replaceable network component
You
systems.
could pick anyone on this list and it's ridiculous.
Dude, these are ridiculous. Like, these are off the charts ridiculous. Like, okay, it's ridiculous. It's freaking ridiculous when Microsoft goes after companies for things like patents on FAT as a file system. However, at least that is a specific implementation thing. They're saying, okay, it's a specific type of file system. This is like saying, I put a file on a computer.
Yeah.
And that's what these patents are like. They're just the most broad, general things possible, and they're attacking Android directly by going after HTC because of
they know HTC makes the Nexus 1.
Yep.
And they basically they're attacking
the primary Android phone people right now.
They're taking their weak portfolio. They know if they go up against Google, they're going to lose.
They're going to lose.
If they go up against, because also they're going after Microsoft. They're going after, this also applies to Microsoft Mobile. Yeah. Windows Mobile.
Yeah.
So they're going after HTC because HTC is the least equipped to defend themselves in all of this. And they're looking at it as basically an evil move of let's test our patents, see what happens by attacking HTC.
Dude, that is freaking me out right now up there. For those of you watching not watching the video version, there's a big giant Steve Jobs head right next to me. It's like, honestly, I had a dream about this not that long ago. I woke up just drenched in sweat, screaming. I was freaked out.
Go like this, Brian. Go like this. Go. Ah! Yeah. All right. So
all right, there we go.
So Apple's move here is essentially they're trying to chip away at the partners that are associated with Google, so that way they can chip away at Android, test them in this way before they take a full frontal. It's essentially HTC is the middleman.
Say a full frontal
before they go on a full frontal to Google. HTC is the middleman before they attack Google. You know what I mean? They're attacking Google through HTC.
No, yeah, Steve Jobs wants to have full frontal.
Right?
Right.
I think so.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely what it is. It's just stupid. Guys, I mean, for one, All right, so there's all sorts of patent wars going on in the mobile world.
Sure.
Most of it is boring as hell to me. Like, Apple and Nokia were going after each other, and most of the patents they were going after each other over were pretty stupid.
Yep.
Some of them at least made kind of sense. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
there was a couple of them
Some
that were real
GSM patents
specific.
and
Yeah.
whatnot.
These though, basically it's Apple attacking Android for like being a phone. Like Apple's really upset that there's other phones in the world. And
Well,
that's super
And what's so
lame.
awful about it is
Leave poor Android alone, guys. Like, I'm not the hugest Android fan. Android's cool and everything, but come on, it's just trying to be a nice little phone. Let it be, man.
there's always that thing too, like when a company like SCO or other companies aren't doing so hot, and you're like, oh boy, this is always a sad way to see a company go when they're kind of dying out. They got to go
Yeah.
the legal route because they can't win competitively. But when you're Apple and you're selling more iPhones than they're selling HTC devices, you're already on top.
Right.
So, and it's not one of those things.
At that point, you're just being a jerk.
And the Apple
That's all
the
there
Apple
is to
fans
it.
are saying, well, you have to defend your patents or to keep them. No, that's trademark. You have to defend your trademark to keep your trademark. You don't have to defend your patents to keep your patents. You have your patents.
You already have them.
And there's
You're good
also
to go.
things like you could pull the Microsoft maneuver and be like, hey Amazon, that VFAT you're using, that's ours. Would you like to license that? Instead of just like
See, that's the thing. Yeah.
Apple did not even approach HTC and say, hey, would you like to license?
No.
HTC
I was
found out
surprised.
they're being sued by reading an article online.
Yes. That's the most ridiculous thing ever.
That's
If
not
I was like the
that's not being a
CEO
cool dude.
of HTC, I'd be like, for reals? Like, I mean, I'm sure if they approached HTC about it, their lawyers could hash it out,
And it
figure out
sucks
what's
because
really
you're looking
real,
at it, you're going, boy,
save
I
everyone a bunch of money.
you're looking at it, you're going, boy, I think I could make a really cool phone, a really cool system, but I don't want to get sued. And then right then, now you're harming the entire industry.
Right.
And that sucks.
Yep. Yep.
I
It's
don't know.
ridiculous.
I
It's just stupid.
I read this thing that it
Forget
applies to the they specifically named the Nexus 1, the Touch Pro, the Pro
Yep.
2, the Touch Diamond, Tilt 2, Pure, Maggio Dream, and the Touch 3G Hero, HD2, and the Droid Ares.
So basically a bunch of
Every
Android
recent
phones
Android phone.
and a couple of Windows mobile phones.
yeah.
Yep.
It
I mean, come on. Let's be honest here. Those are Windows Mobile 6 phones. They're not exactly the most cutting edge
Right.
pieces of hardware on the planet.
Now, if you think Apple's maybe HTC is legitimately stealing take a look at this article from Engadget that was just sent to me
this
via
one
the
was
chat room.
great. This was
is a
great.
great breakdown of the article. I'll link to it in the show notes. I'm not going to go through because it's pretty dry.
It's
But it's-
really dry.
it's-
It's like 40 pages of the most difficult to read text, but it's great.
They went through and got the actual patent diagrams
Yep.
and they got the actual description, and
It's a great synopsis of exactly what Apple's doing here.
I love the crap about multitasking operating systems.
Dude,
Like, are you seriously suing Android, an Android device maker, over having multitasking in their operating system when you don't offer it to your users? And the iPhone is perfectly capable of multitasking.
Is that not the
What-
most ridiculous
What a
thing?
dick move!
No. Not only is it a dick move, it points out how bad Apple's offering is.
Well, yeah,
That'd be like, me putting out a painting that didn't use any colors and then suing everyone who used colors.
well, it really bothers me that the iPhone has the capability of doing it. They just turn it off.
It's freaking annoying.
Go in the settings, make a toggle switch. Like they added. Do you remember during the development of the iPhone of the 3G version, there wasn't a 3G toggle switch. 3G was just always on.
Yeah.
And
So
then
add a little
for
little
folks that want to
toggle.
conserve battery
Yeah.
power, there is a 3G. So now you just have a battery conservation section in your settings. And you know what? Have these three things in there.
Bloop.
3G on off. Multitasking on off. Allowing me to set the effing screen brightness timeout on off.
God.
I just want to set how long before my
Seriously.
screen times out. Is that asking? Or how long before it locks? Toggle switches. Default them off. I'm like Android does with installing applications from a third-party app repo.
Yeah.
It's off by default, so I can by default only install from the marketplace.
But you can just go in and boop, turn it on.
Bob's your uncle.
Exactly. I kind of wish it was turned on by default,
right.
but that's nicer than
And-
not having the option.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so should we move on to the next story on the news docket?
Oh, please, I don't want to talk about this
All
anymore.
right, Brian, the next story on the news docket for this week. The Palm PDK for WebOS, Palm's PDK for WebOS has been released.
Oh, we're
Now
talking
the-
about phones more.
I know. Well, you know what?
I know.
It's just where it's at.
I know. And these are running Linux. I know.
I know.
know.
But this is interesting.
No, this is actually kind of cool.
So WebOS's big approach was web apps, and then they kind of rescinded on that. Now they're going as far as saying C++ apps with 3D
web
performance.
apps is still the primary focus here.
But
They've
they're
got
allowing
so
it.
so
That's
the Palm Ares development environment. It's very web centric and web based,
Totally,
and it's
yeah.
very, very cool and very nice. But that doesn't work so great for games and a few other types of apps. So they've got this. So you can make plugins to embed into your apps that are written in C++, which is a nice way to go. Basically, it gives you the ability to make really nice high performance games in WebOS. So that's nice.
Do you think
They needed to have done it a little sooner, but the fact that it's now available,
I agree with that.
at least it's available. It's a very good step.
Do you think Palm is going to try to position themselves as, well, if you've made it for the iPhone, now you can easily make it for the for WebOS? Because one of the things they mentioned like 3 or 4 times in here is how easy it is to port from the iPhone.
Oh yeah,
that's really a big point that
There's
they're stressing in this
like
article.
a billion iPhone apps, so that makes sense.
Is that a position you want to be in? Do you want to be the where your second thought after the iPhone? But is that your best option right now for Palm? Maybe.
Oh man.
All right.
I mean, maybe.
You don't like the story. We can move on.
I mean, it's cool and everything, but
Yeah, I hear you.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
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 All right.
You know what it is? It's that I wanted WebOS. I like so many things about WebOS.
Dude, WebOS is a nice little handheld operating system. It looks slick. It's
I think
smooth.
it pulls off the
runs
multitasking
well.
better than the Android.
Oh yeah, they did a really nice job
I
with
like
it.
the cards.
I would really like for Palm to succeed with WebOS. So the easier they make it to port applications from any platform, from Linux, from Palm, from iPhone, I don't care, is good. I just,
But
whatever.
all right, so your phone blows up today, and you need to get a new phone right after this show.
Yep.
Do you go out and buy a? Would you consider buying?
No.
Why?
No, because there's better phones out there. Honestly, I'm still.
Are
in the
there
camp.
better phones though?
Well, for me, I'm a nerd, man. I'm a hardcore nerd. I'm not going to be going and buying like one of those little flip phones. I'm not going to be buying like a T-Mobile Sidekick or something. Despite the Sidekicks are kind of cool, but I'm going to go for like an N900 or something. I'm still in that camp. It's extra nerdy. I like the extra nerdiness.
See, at the end of the day,
I like the ability to root into my system. I like the ability to
but you
run
could do that in the WebOS.
full Debian and stuff on my system. You can kind of do that on WebOS, but I'm more of a Mamo Migo N900D guy.
See, my problem is I want all that stuff, but I also have to be able to take phone calls like 100% reliability.
I'm with
so
you.
I still want something that's primarily supposed to be a phone with all these cool abilities added, and I really like.
Oh, the WebOS looks cool. It works well.
And what I'm showing on the video version is each application is a card that you can flip between.
Yeah,
and they
it's
just
really
stay
neat.
running, and you can kind of expose out almost and look at all of them. Or
they look
copies.
really cool. Yeah.
No,
they look great.
And now they got it for Verizon.
Honestly,
Sprint.
I'd go N900, Nexus One, and then the Palm Pre.
I hear you.
In that order.
Yeah.
Probably right now.
All right.
And all 3 different operating systems.
Mm-hmm.
So and they're all running Linux. So those are my top 3 right now.
All running Linux.
And they're all running Linux.
Uh-huh.
And it has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that they're running Linux, except for the N900. That's mostly because it's running Linux. but the other ones, not so much.
All right, Brian, the next story on the news docket for this week. Crossover releases version 9.0. Now, Crossover we've always talked about on this show because I know there's a lot of you out there that are running Linux in a Windows world. So
and you have to you have like a stupid like work environment that they force you to run Internet Explorer.
That's my situation.
Or some really weird accounting program that no one's ever heard of.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be able to have Windows compatibility. So you've got to have something like Crossover.
Now they've done some really nice UI improvements in this version. That's I got to say probably one of their number one areas they've really improved.
It looks good.
The new application selector program is really slick.
Yeah,
looking.
it looks nice.
Yeah, it really is a nice setup. And the other things they've let you do is what they call recipes. You can download recipes from their site. That's like if people in the community have figured out how to get an application to work under Crossover, they can publish a recipe that you can then download, and it's a script to follow. In a lot of cases, they've reduced the installation of Windows applications to like just a few clicks.
That's so great.
And the range of applications they now support is so effing long.
Yeah.
They don't even before they used to be like now with better Outlook support.
I love the script thing. That reminds me a lot of like Wine Doors. I don't know if you remember Wine Doors, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wine Doors is this really cool little app.
It had to shut down though.
Yeah, it had to shut down. But when it was going, it allowed you to do like one-click things for installing all the support DLLs for running VB apps and everything else to make it nice and easy to get up and running with your standard Windows apps and games that you have to run.
Yep.
And having this in Crossover, that's awesome.
One of the things it does too is like if you're installing something, it'll go out and get all of the
all the dependencies.
So like say in case of QuickTime, there's not a lot of dependencies.
It's like Wine Doors that way.
It'll go down, it'll download the QuickTime installer. It creates what they call bottles, And these bottles are, if you're familiar with almost like FreeBS jails, or it's an isolated area where it'll have its own copy of all of the Windows dependencies and things like that. So that way you don't worry about messing up one Windows app, messing up another Windows app. Creates isolated bottles if you choose to, downloads them all, installs them, and then within a few minutes, you've got full QuickTime Player on your machine. What?
Windows should do that.
I know.
Like Microsoft Windows should have that by default.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's no more DLL problems.
There was like a Sandboxy or something like that for XP. They haven't been able to implement it with 7 or Vista, but it essentially let you do just that. It was really cool.
That's awesome.
They also include if you download, say, an example, if you download QuickTime, you can also get a plugin into Firefox, so you have the QuickTime player inside your browser, and you can literally go over to apple.com/QuickTime or trailers, whatever it is, and you can watch stuff inside the QuickTime player.
Dude, is that Linux Firefox with a pop-up with QuickTime going?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No.
That's freaking righteous.
Right? It's smooth now. This is what I'm saying. This 9.0 release is smooth.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, it's polished.
I had no idea that they had that going. Like I saw the release and I saw the screenshot of the cool apps and everything. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Yeah. But I had no idea they had that working right.
The reviewer says it works like a charm. So I'm totally going to check this out because work just got another application that requires Internet Explorer. And I'm getting sick of always having a VM running. Dude,
seriously.
So I think I'm going to go crossover.
I always have a Windows VM running just because I have to for work.
My job now requires a Internet Explorer, but also Outlook with a plugin for Outlook. So it actually has to be Outlook because it plugs in and lets you assign emails to clients.
Evolution or something like that.
No.
Right.
Or even just the webmail, like Outlook Web Access. I can't use that.
Yeah. Plus you use Outlook Web Access on a non-Microsoft IE system. You get the lame version.
Yeah,
it's like the worst webmail client ever. Yeah. Really the nice enhanced version is actually pretty nice. It works really well.
Yeah,
but you have to be running the latest version IE.
All right, Brian. The next story on the news docket for this week. This is just kind of a fun one. Best Buy has open sourced their idea gathering application called IdeaX.
What?
And now this by itself is not very interesting, but it's a Best Buy tool that lets you submit it's like a customer. It's an online customer suggestion box.
Oh.
And right now it's all branded for Best Buy, but they've GPL'd it, and it will.
So I could go to bestbuyideax.com right now and say my idea is stop trying to talk to me the second I walk in your door.
Yes.
And they would do that. That would be great.
I don't think so.
Because that would be great.
But we could.
If every time I walked into a Best Buy, they didn't go, "Hey, welcome to Best Buy. You want to talk to me for a little bit? I want to talk to you."
You know why they do that? You know why they do that?
Oh, it's annoying. Why? Because they hate me.
No, so you won't steal. Because
they won't steal.
Psychologists has said that when you walk in the door, someone makes eye contact with you, and then when you're walking out the door, somebody makes eye contact with you, you're significantly less likely to shoplift.
I never even thought of that.
Isn't that weird?
Huh.
They're playing head games.
I thought they were just screwing with me.
No, they're playing. So
it's like some really annoying guy up front who wants to talk to me, and it's never a hot chick. It's never like someone who's just really attractive, and she's just like, "Hi, I would love to talk to you for a while."
To Best Buy.
I'd be like, you know what, everybody, I don't need to buy anything, but let's go to Best Buy for just 5-10 minutes.
I'm with you, dude. I'm with you.
It's always the worst, most annoying guy in the store.
So we could take this code and make an idea X for Jupiter Broadcasting if we wanted to.
So they open source this?
It's GPL'd, yeah.
Oh. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, and their implementation they did actually is a pretty sweet looking app.
What's it like based on?
I don't know. It looks.
Is it like PHP? Or
it looks probably like PHP.
You're just basing that on nothing.
I don't know. Should I look at? I can't tell if I look at the page source, can
I?
No, I love how they have to have special code in here just for IE though. Look at that.
Yeah, right nice there. IE code right
if
there.
IE
oh, that's pretty.
Oh,
ooh,
cool.
I like that. If IE 6, if IE 7.
Yep.
I love it.
So thank you, Microsoft, for that.
Thanks, old versions of IE.
Yeah.
All right.
It uses jQuery, so that'll help you, right? I can't see.
I guess.
Yeah, it looks
jQuery's all right.
It looks interesting enough. I think. I think it's a cool idea.
No, I like that.
I just wanted to give Best Buy props because I'm usually pretty hard on Best Buy.
And actually, the design looks good.
I think so too.
Actually, it's a really nice looking design. That's significantly more attractive than the rest of the Best Buy website.
It's way better than Best Buy's main site.
Yeah, way better.
Yeah.
Whoever did this should redo all of BestBuy.com and then
GPL that.
And then they should GPL that. And you know what?
That makes it look better.
At that point, I would only shop at Best Buy for my computer stuff. How's that? How's that sound? I will go down to Fry's and protest them if you do that.
All right.
For at least one day.
Totally.
Like an afternoon.
I'm totally there. They screwed me on my motherboard a year back or whatever it was.
You remember that? Oh, yeah, that was fun. You hurled the motherboard at the wall in the trash can. That was a fun story.
Yeah.
All right. We got more news, I think.
Nope, that's it.
No. We do.
Oh, okay, go.
So you remember how we were talking about Migo?
I do remember that, Brian.
All right. So we had this little conversation. We're like, oh, Mamo and Moblin merged, and now they're Migo.
We had a real big conversation.
And I was like, well, hey, it's not so bad. The N900 will get updated to Migo, and you're like, there's no way it's gonna happen. There's no way it's gonna happen.
I was like that.
Yeah.
Migo is coming out for N900.
Yeah, not only that, but it looks like the rumor is that the first Migo repositories will be available around the end of the month. Around the end
they're
of
doing
March.
the right thing. I mean, I'm glad to
they're
be
doing
wrong.
it exactly
I'm glad.
right.
I'm very happy to be wrong.
It's not an official Migo 1.0 release yet, but basically what they're showing is the only dev environment type device is going to be the N900, at least right now. So we're getting N900 repositories. I don't know what that's going to mean in terms of an actual installable, flashable Migo 1.0 alpha-ish release for the N900 right away, but that does mean that they are working on Migo for the N900.
Which is awesome.
Killer, because that means that I can go out and get an N900
and it's not dead.
It's not dead.
Yeah.
Right, because the N900 is a killer device. It is killer. It is a rockin' little piece of hardware. And
except for the people that we know that have used it have not loved it.
But they're not nerdy enough.
I got a buddy, my buddy James out there is going to let us test his N900.
That'd be great if we get that and test it out with the pre-release of Migo and actually
absolutely.
see if the
so much
updates are really worthwhile.
I'd love to get a little Migo on the show.
I wanted to mention that one just because I thought it's nice to see so quickly after the announcement they're already rolling with it. They're not going to wait 7-8 months and then maybe roll out a dev program. No, it's just boom. Repositories are going to be available.
You should go with this for your main machine.
Oh man. I actually had quite a few of those old clamshell iBooks. Chris those listen to the audio. Chris is making fun of me with those clamshell iBooks.
There's
right
I don't know if you guys remember those very first iBooks that Apple made.
The Bondi blue rounded ones with like the rubber and the handle and everything. Those were like they were like the first netbooks, really. In that, you know what I mean? Like there was
they
other
had
laptops
the G3 chip in them, so their battery was pretty dang good.
And they had good battery
life.
And
because of the way they designed the rim, the antenna in the rim of a plastic screen, you had great Wi-Fi.
Those were great machines.
So you had solid reception.
And this one's running Ubuntu, so it actually has a decent operating system.
There you have it.
So that's nice.
Well,
too.
and back in the day with OS 9, they were actually pretty fast.
Yeah, back
only
in
like
the day.
300 megahertz, but they were actually pretty fast.
You had an old G3 PowerBook that you ran. What were you running?
I think it was
Gen 2 or something.
I think I did Gen 2 once on there.
Yeah.
It was a PowerPC distro. I think I tried a few different PowerPC.
And
what I liked about that was 2 batteries.
Yeah, you had great battery life on that thing.
Yeah, I had
awesome.
I had like 8 hours of battery life on a. Geez, how old would that be? A PowerBook Pismo. I don't know. That'd be
like a decade ago or more.
Yeah,
more than a decade ago. Yeah,
it's pretty nuts,
dude. I feel old now.
I know. Hey, but good news about the Migo.
Dude, on the awesome news about the Migo.
Absolutely.
Love the Migo.
All right, Brian.
Migo's going to rule the world.
That's all the news for this week. And now it's time for the big segment of the big show.
Big segment.
Big segment. We got a couple of things. We did 2 different items last week, so we're going to do 2 different items this week. I don't know if we'll keep it up. Probably not. Probably too much work.
Probably way too much work.
2 things we're going to talk about this week is number 1, running Android. Did it just die?
I don't know. I don't know. I got a little triple EPC sitting right here. Just to no. I just was trying to go to sleep. Yeah.
We've got a really cool webcam tool called Webcam Studio for Linux. You're definitely gonna want to stick around for. And then we're gonna go a little bit in here on running Android on a netbook. We've talked about it a little bit in the past, but it's come a long way. So we thought it was time to
heck
revisit.
of a long way.
For this little example here, we're going to be using it on an triple EPC 900 device.
Yes, sir. We got one of these suckers right here. The triple EPCs are fantastic in that every Linux distribution runs on them like perfectly.
Seriously.
I mean, they're not. Especially the earlier models. The newer models, like when you get like NVIDIA Ion graphics and things like that, maybe not so well. But you got Intel Wi-Fi, Intel chipsets, Intel video, Intel everything, and these ones even just have an old Celeron processor on them, so they're just everything supports it. So,
yes, you loaded 1.6 on there.
So
not the absolute latest.
I've been making
why not the latest?
I've been making fun of Android a lot. Because it'd been slow on every phone I've tried it on, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, I know for a fact. Let's just even the playing field.
Benchmark. Right?
I know that this triple EPC 900, that's only this little Celeron little processor, doesn't, it's not fast, but it runs plenty
You
fine.
know how it runs because you've ran it with many
full stock
operating systems.
Fedora and Ubuntu and everything
So you're
on
familiar
it.
with this performance.
Hell, I've even run multiple dev environments on here, and other than the very small screen, it actually works pretty darn well.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay.
Well, and realistically, is it 900 megahertz? Is that what the Celeron runs at?
It's Celeron 900.
Think about what you used to do with 500 megahertz.
Seriously. So it should be awesome.
How much memory?
2 gigs of RAM right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this would be considered.
This is like the Nexus One of
just about
laptops. Yeah.
Wow.
So okay. So there's two versions of the kind of x86 build of Android.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got it up of the URL over there. I believe it's androidx86.org.
Yep, one word. Android-x86.org.
You can get images that you can throw on a CD. So it actually is a live CD of Android. There's versions for Android 1.6 and Android 2.0.
Oh wow, they have Chrome OS on here too.
Yes. Yeah, you can grab a Chrome OS VMware image that they're still working on right now. So I grabbed
Why 1.6 over 2?
Okay, so the 2.0 image is still kind of a work in progress. The OpenGL accelerated driver is not working quite right, and then there are sound issues, I believe. There's a couple of problems with
Wi-Fi would be the biggest one for me.
Yeah, I think
you
it has
want
Wi-Fi.
Oh, it does.
I think it has Wi-Fi.
But not 3D acceleration.
But not 3D acceleration. So I tried it out.
Yeah.
So I plugged both of them in with the live CD, and it is sluggish on the 2.0 image currently. Supposedly that should be fixed once the 3D driver's in there and everything.
Yeah, because
else.
everything I hear is 2.0 is better performing than 1.6 on phones, and 2.1 is supposed to be best performing of them all.
So I thought, you know what? 1.6, honestly, it's not that old anyway. Let me give it a spin. I've tried a lot of Android 1.6 phones, so let's see how it runs. So I stuck it on here. Boom.
Yeah, buddy.
It's on this little triple E PC here. You can see it right there. The thing is, it's actually really fast.
Yeah. I just played with it for a couple of seconds and I was already impressed.
It's incredibly fast. Application load time is significantly fast.
Almost nothing.
It supports the full native resolution of the triple E PC. And it works incredibly well.
All the hardware works out of the box.
Everything works. The crazy.
So you now have an Android netbook.
I have a full Android netbook. There's no problems with it. It's installed natively. This is actually kind of crazy. So because those in the video version can see this, because this is native resolution to the triple E PC, it scales. So it's significantly bigger than a phone.
Yeah.
Which means that like this little webcam app, the camcorder application that ships with Android, has like 90% empty screen real estate.
But it works.
It works perfectly. I'm able to take video clips of it.
And if the triple E PC webcam had a native resolution that was higher, it would be probably a bigger window.
It would be a bigger window.
Now, do you see yourself sticking with this as your triple E operating system? It's fast. How's battery life?
Don't know on the battery life yet. It's a little hard for me to tell. I always use this guy plugged in.
Me too.
You know,
I have multiple power adapters.
I unplug my netbooks when I go to the bathroom. So I know that it lasts 15, 20 minutes.
Let's see.
That's about it. But other than that, I'm not really sure. So it runs fast. It runs nice. But the problem is it doesn't have Flash for web browsing.
But does the triple E play Flash that well?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it plays fine. Like you can watch Hulu videos on it just fine and everything under like a Ubuntu with the latest.
Have you been able to install apps? See, when I tried this, it didn't have the marketplace.
Yes. It's got like a pseudo marketplace. This little like mini marketplace app store thing.
All right.
So I was able to install some apps, installed some games. They played just fine. It's a little weird because a lot of the stuff is tailored for touchscreen. It's not really tailored for having a mouse, but it looks fine. It has a mouse
you have
cursor.
to use like the backspace as the back because the part of the Google spec requires that there's be certain physical buttons on every phone.
The backspace is the escape key, and on the triple E, it's got a stupid Windows key. But the stupid Windows key is the whatever key.
Now you've got to load some of these apps I've been talking about. Specifically, you need to load one of my picks that I'm going to have coming up.
Honestly, I should load up all the ones you're talking about. See how they run on a netbook.
Yeah.
No, I think it's. Actually,
I know one in particular. I'll tell you off there because I don't want to spoil it because it's in 3 weeks the one I'm doing. But there's an app I want you to get that is awesome.
Now, what this does tell me, though, is that Android is actually performing just fine.
Could you dev on this for a phone? Could you?
No, there's no good dev environment.
No,
on
I don't
Android
mean
for
I don't mean actually dev on it. I mean
use it to test.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
Why aren't you just getting into Android then, dude? It seems like it's got an open marketplace. It's got a thriving user base.
Because I'm sleepy.
You can load it on a ton of devices.
I am a very tired young man.
No, I mean, why are you even considering the N900 when you can load Android on? You cannot load MeeGo on this, but you could load Android on this.
Now, theoretically, I could run Migo on this.
But I mean, you can
eventually.
load Android on today. You could be
No, that's
you
true.
could be deving apps today.
The big thing is, I'm not a huge Java dev. That's the big thing.
Right.
Java's great. I like Java, but that's not my thing. I don't have a crazy amount of Java experience.
Right.
Whereas I've got a lot of experience in other places.
Word.
But this is running great. So what this tells me is that the phones that were out there that were performing slowly, either the Android just wasn't optimized right for them, and it had like the wrong drivers or something, or B, they were significantly underpowered and they just weren't ready to run Android.
Well, it's like my Droid.
So that makes me feel like this has got legs. This really actually could be awesome.
My Droid it runs at like 500 megahertz. I rooted it, put an app on there. Now it runs at 900 megahertz, and I was really worried about nuking my phone. I'm overclocking my cell phone. That seems like the stupidest thing possible.
It doesn't seem like that's a good idea.
So research leads me to find out that like it runs like another 2 degrees hotter, consumes almost exactly the same power because the chip was actually designed to run at like 800 megahertz or something like that, and they downclock it for battery life.
And that makes sense.
So all I'm doing is pushing it just a little bit.
Just a smidge, and that makes a big difference.
It made a big difference.
Yeah.
It made me from about ready to take the Droid phone back to keeping the Droid.
That's a huge bit right there. Yeah, and I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, you know what? This kind of makes me think the Nexus 1 and the other similar, like the phones from HTC that are coming out with the fancier, the better processors and everything. Makes me think that those could be really kick-ass.
They could be. Now, before we go on to the next thing that you've been looking at, because it is pretty awesome, I just want to give a brief mention of the new store we've got at Jupiter Broadcasting, store.jupiterbroadcasting.com.
Say what?
And we're still loading up. Our buddy Jeremy's got a whole list of cool stuff he wants in there. I've got a whole list of gear I want in there. We have got things.
Yeah.
Radical Codex, perhaps you've heard of it. It would happen to be a comic book reader for Linux.
Oh, what's that?
Perhaps you've heard of that.
Oh, and look right next to it. There's like Kindles and stuff.
Oh my goodness!
Basically,
Brian.
this is a collection of.
You know what Kindles run?
Linux.
Linux.
That's right, they do.
And then if you like comic, we got all kinds of stuff in the store, and we are adding more all the time.
It's stuff that either we bought anyway because we like them, or that we think that you guys would like because you're nerdy and you're into this.
You
stuff.
go to store.jupiterbroadcasting.com, and if you're already going to buy from Amazon, say you go click on our Kindle, and it'll take you over to Amazon.com.
Yeah.
If you buy anything else while at Amazon.com, anything. I mean, if you buy paper towels, we get credit for it.
Please buy paper towels at Amazon.com.
We get 4% credit off of the, or 4 to 6.
It doesn't cost you anything, so
and
why not?
it doesn't cost you anymore. And if all you have to do is just go from store.jupiterbroadcasting and buy something in our store, or buy something off Amazon.com by linking through there, and we get credit for it.
That's right.
And we appreciate it very much when people do that.
Plus, there's cool t-shirts there.
Yeah.
All right.
So let's talk about Webcam Studio for Linux. What is this thing, man?
All right. So I need to back up for a second. I'm going to throw this little netbug off the side. It's distracting me. Stay on the floor,
Don't get distracted, Brian.
All right. Now, there have been a couple of gaping holes in the... we're looking at this guy. Here, I'll throw this over the screenshot real quick.
Nice.
There we go.
So that's Webcam Studio.
This is Webcam Studio.
And it looks pretty good.
It's actually quite good. Now, this has been one of the big holes on Linux desktop for me personally for a long time.
Yeah, the Mac's got Cam Twist. Windows has Webcam Studio Max.
And Wirecast and all these other things.
Yeah, Wirecast.
There's a lot of great tools out there for, making your own webcam or just doing a nicer job of recording what is on your webcam to disk, to put together presentations, to do all these variety of different things.
Totally.
Linux has had some tools. And they all have sucked.
They have
been so bad, you guys.
Well, it's only been the last year that solid webcam support has really reached Linux, right?
That's true.
There was that dude that sat down and wrote like 400 webcam drivers. And then also the webcam industry kind of just standardized on it.
I want to give that dude a hug. Because thank God for that.
Well, and then, the kind of the industry is kind of standardized on a certain set of chips. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to go off.
No. You're absolutely right. And now, I mean, there's a lot of areas like this. Now, video editing on Linux has been a problem, and over the last 6 months to a year, it's gotten better.
A lot better.
We've gotten open
lives.
shot. We've got live.
You could do it on Blender
too.
Blender?
PTV.
PTV is another good one.
Just more
all
and
kinds
more.
of stuff. But the live webcam stuff that you do while you're recording has still been pretty weak.
Still been extremely.
So you've been
weak.
looking at this guy here, Webcam Studio, right?
Webcam Studio. Webcam Studio for Linux.
Do you know where you find it at?
Oh, let me get the ws4gl.org.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's Webcam Studio for GNU Linux.
Nice.
Is the
we'll link to it in the show notes.
Yeah, we'll link to it for you there.
Now, do you have any examples?
I do actually. So we're actually just going to play the examples from his website. It's a little easier to capture live than actually doing it here locally. But what I wanted to call a few things out on the screenshot here before we dive into that. So you'll notice there's this little preview window here for those of you watching the video version. There's a few things happening. One is that you have multiple layers that you can handle and lay them out however you like.
Oh, I love having layers.
For taking shots of your desktop, which it includes the ability to do multiple shots of your desktop, including support for noticing when your mouse is moving. So let's say, for example, I want to do a webcast with a video of me. And of course, I love to do that. And then I want another shot of like a web page or a picture or something. But when I want to call someone's attention to a picture on a page or something, I want a little box to pop up in the lower left-hand corner and just show that. And when I stop moving, after a while, I want that to go away.
Sure.
This handles that. It'll let me zoom in on an area around my mouse cursor and only show it within the stream when my mouse cursor moves. Kind of a neat little thing. And this thing has a lot of little effects like that.
We actually use that zoom in and move the mouse cursor thing a lot.
We use it a lot, and it does it very, very well and very, very fast.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna come over here to watch some of these. It's got a whole cool stuff to do page, and it covers everything from hide when iconified option. We can get into that in a minute. Using multiple webcams works. Basically, it allows you to do a full webcam-ish suite. So here we go. We got this little video here, right?
Yeah.
Here's this guy. I believe this is the dev of Webcam Studio, or at least the main dev.
And he's got text scrolling at the top of his video. I'm sure he uses the app to do that itself, right?
Yeah, yep. That's the app itself. Now he's dancing. You'll notice he's dancing. Oh my gosh, he's got a thing over his face.
He's got an alien mask over his face, and it's actually able to track the motion.
Oh, that's just creepy. It's a devil with, and then there's another thing that looks kind of creepy. But that's awesome that it works like that. You know what I'm saying? This is very, very cool that it even does it. It can handle lots and lots of effects. It does it very, very fast. Oh my gosh, look at that. It's a 3D effect where it actually has it little morphed a little bit.
It put him at a slant, which is very cool.
It did.
That's really cool.
This is actually a fairly pro level in terms of features webcam little dealy bobber here. Let's see if we can see it while you're turning it here. So look at that. Live turning, live transmorphing of the video. Transmorphing, that's not a word. Yeah, it is. I'm going with it.
You transmogrified it, right?
Well, I believe it was osmosis going on. So it's very, very cool.
So he's using to do the avatar stuff, I believe, according to someone in our chat room. Manhattan says that he's using a technology called Me Maker, which lets you do live avatars, and it's I believe it's an open source thing that he's pulled into Webcam Studio.
Yeah,
I love seeing this is such a great example of how open source projects can work together. Very cool.
Hugely awesome. Now, I don't really have any real issues with it other than the UI is not
100%
awesome.
Not yet.
But it's good.
Yeah.
It's like it's a good UI, but not an awesome UI. It's getting better and better with each release. It actually has a little plugin thing. So like there's a little plugin interface. Like here you got a weather bug plugin where it actually shows
what the weather is in your current location right now.
Yeah, and it puts it over into the thing. The UI needs a little bit of work, but it's working incredibly well. Now,
cool,
this screenshot and that video was taken from the kind of the SVN version, the in-dev version.
Oh, okay.
There's no official word on when the next
release
is going to be.
It's looking pretty good though for a development version.
Incredible! Oh yeah, it supports local recording.
Nice.
It works great. You can do lots of animation stuff. There's a quick little load last studio menu. So boom, whatever you had set up last, boom, load that back up, comes back in.
This guy knows the itches I need scratched.
See, this is what I'm thinking.
Yes.
I'm looking at this, and finally, I can do things. I can actually webcast my webcasts using this.
This would be a real nice program to sit down and bang out a really quick video blog or something.
Exactly,
or like a quick live stream chat. Now, it doesn't do Ustream yet, right?
It does not do Ustream yet.
It either needs to be able to connect directly to Ustream through like RTMP, or it needs to be able to present itself to Flash.
Yeah,
as a
exactly.
webcam.
You can stream over to
Justin.tv. And Justin.tv is great. So there you go.
So that's a big start. Now
I really like Justin.tv, so that's a good one.
Justin.tv is not too bad. So, but it has options. It's moving forward. It's getting there. You can save off your results locally.
Nice, dude.
There's you can set an IRC source, like it's a special custom
built-in
thing.
Up.
No, yeah, it's built into the thing where here, let me
What would you now? You send it commands, or you can integrate chat, or what?
Show an IRC source connected to your server, so when people view the recording, they will also see what viewers are chatting about. It's literally like
that's awesome.
Because currently here, when we show the IRC chat room in some of our shows, we actually have to have an IRC client up. We take a screen grab of that area. Yep. We embed it into the show. It's kind of complicated. It's kind of crashy.
It requires another machine just running IRC.
Second machine. It's annoying. This actually says, okay, I can plug myself in, log into a room, and then position that where I want it.
Matt Harley is in the chat room. Matt Harley says it does do Ustream.
It does Ustream?
It loads Ustream as a V loop back under the webcam.
I'll be darned.
So it shows
I need to
up,
play with that more.
So it shows up as it must show up in Flash as a webcam entry.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, Matt, are you working on this application or?
Matt Harley has been involved in the application, or at least he thinks it's very, very awesome. So he's been that much involved.
Yeah, he says yes, he is involved. So that's
awesome. It's a very, very cool little app. Again, Webcam Studio for Linux. We're gonna keep tabs of it.
We should try doing once
this version is only available via the source.
Once there's like a package, I'm gonna try doing like some video blogs with it on my blog.
Now, no, I can get this running for you right now if you want to try this out. But when it is available as a widely distributable package, there's a little installer right now. But when it's available as a package,
there is an installer.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh,
it
works.
It works.
Okay.
We'll let everyone know. I'll throw a link up on my blog or something like that. Very, very cool. This absolutely scratches that itch. That need is now really
exciting
close
to see this stuff coming.
to being not
Do you
a problem
know
anymore.
How many people have emailed me and said, "Do you have a cam twist for Linux?" This looks better than cam twist.
This honestly,
this is exciting.
This has more of the features that I want than Wirecast, than any of the professional ones.
There's a couple of things in there that are really hot.
Really, really cool. Night vision effect, view in the dark, using your webcam. Just random cool stuff.
I love the guys in our chat room.
Stuff.
Conan Kudo has already offered to write a Fedora package. Just so cool.
It's way, way cool. This is one of the coolest, most exciting projects for me personally that I've seen in a long time.
They want to know more features. Matt in the chat room says it does way more than what you guys are talking about. I know.
All right, so
we can only cover so
go
much.
over to ws4gl.org, Webcam Studio 4 GNU/Linux.
I'll put it in the show notes too.
I like he calls it GNU/Linux. That's adorable. You're adorable, GNU/Linux.
Well, RMS, they just want RMS, man.
Yeah, this is just so cool. This is so very, very cool. Huge kudos to everyone who's ever even come close to working on this project. This is very, very, very cool. Now, with this, we've got a great webcam kind of production suite. We're now finally getting decent video editors. We went from having no video editor that worked right
digital photos
to having at this point 3, debatably 4, really just 3 though, good video editors that may not be, Final Cut Pro in quality,
but they're going to let you edit your home movie.
But they're certainly going to rival that of like Windows Movie Maker, iMovie, etc. And that's awesome.
And with FSpot and the K Digicam or whatever it is that lets you do, and then also between Banshee, Rhythmbox, and Amarok.
Oh my gosh.
Your digital life cycle
is now taken care of.
The digital circle jerk that Apple talks about is available on Linux.
Yeah, that's so true. But this is awesome. I know it's a little thing. I know it's just a webcam.
One less thing to boot into Mac OS 10 or Windows though.
That's my thing.
One less thing.
So like I was doing the coding with Brian's. I couldn't do it purely in Linux, even though I wanted. I tried hard. I tried for weeks and weeks to get it to work how I wanted to. So what I ended up having to do was having a Windows setup with the right apps and then VMware instances running for my Linux desktop so I could show them what I'm working on.
Dude.
Now I can just do it.
It's awesome.
I can do it from any machine that's running Linux.
That's awesome.
That's so rad.
That's really
with
cool.
multiple camera sources and everything. Great job. We'll talk about it more.
You're guaranteed we're going to be following this one because we're going to be running it ourselves.
We need it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So if anybody else out there has played with this, let us know. You can give us feedback over at jupitercolony.com, and that's where we'd love to hear your experiences with it.
Buenos noches.
All right, man. Well, I think that wraps up the big segment in the big show.
The big one? I do believe that brings us to the end of this week's broadcast. I want to thank everyone for hanging out with us today.
Another awesome week, dude.
Good
Big
times.
show's back. It's fun. And
congratulations on running Linux.
Good job, everyone.
Way to go, big guy.
We are going to do a
You're on the road right now. If you're listening to this in the car, Look over to your left. That guy? Probably not running Linux.
But you are.
What a tard.
Yeah.
A little quick
He's a douche.
jerk of your wheels to the left. Boom. He's off the road. I'm just saying that's probably a bad idea, but
he had it coming.
Okay. We are not endorsing road homicide.
No. No, don't do that. We're
going to go on the record as we are against.
But if you do, you have a camera phone, so use it. Okay.
I like that I couldn't think of the word for vehicular homicide. I'm like road homicide, car killinating. I'm like I started coming up with all these different phrases.
Weaponized driving,
but not the. Yeah, that's a really good one. Oh, good times. How would you get a hold of us?
I want people to get a hold of us. We're doing a listener feedback or viewer and listener feedback episode next week, so we want you to get a hold of us.
Yes, we do.
Leave us a voicemail at 425-533-2217.
And that's +1 because it's in America.
Or you can Skype us.
Suck it.
You can Skype us at Linux Action Show.
I'm just kidding, foreigners. We love you.
Hey, look, your Twitter URL is right there.
Oh, that's nice.
Twitter.com/Brian Lunduk and Twitter.com/Chris LS.
Now, watch the credits for this week's episode. If it says anything other than my actual Twitter handle, that means that Chris doesn't care about quality. Is what it means, ladies and gentlemen.
Chris means Chris gets tired.
Chris gets tired and always writes it down wrong.
So we want to hear from you. And also there's, of course, always the form over at jupitercolony.com. But
it's amazing.
Get those voicemails in, everybody, because we're going to, we've got a few. We've got about a handful that I want to play, but I want to pick from the cream of the crop.
And if you send in the voicemails, get it in by Friday, so that way we can like spend some time and really like pour over the best of the best and put them in there.
That's you know what, Brian?
And try not to make them like 3 minutes long. Because we got like a voicemail one time from a guy that was like 6 minutes long, and 6 minutes doesn't seem like a lot, guys. But when the guy says, and I'm going to kind of paraphrase this, "Hi, guys."
Dude, now they're all going to do that. You shouldn't have said anything.
This is a voicemail.
You shouldn't have said anything because they're all going to do that now.
About Linux. I want to talk for a minute. About Fedora. Don't do that, guys. Try to make it less than a minute if you can. Really just power into it.
Try to keep it under a minute.
And be like, "Hey, Brian and Chris, I want to talk for a minute about or whatever." Just jump into it, 30 seconds, boom, power
We'll probably also take a few live calls. We'll try to stream live and take a few of your live calls next weekend. So I think
that'd be awesome.
All right, everyone. Well, thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Linux Action Show. We're back next weekend.
Probably.